Good morning, boys and girls. I'm Miss Sherry and I'm your host today, and this is Miss Amy. She's going to be your teacher today. We are going to learn some more about fossils and dinosaurs, just like the ones in Jurassic Park.
Whoa, who loves dinosaurs? I know I do. Come on, we're going to learn all about dinosaurs. We're going to explore and discover about the dinosaurs that lived on Earth long, long ago. But guess what? We need clues. Clues are things that help us figure out things. Like Miss Sherry gave us a lot of clues about rocks and minerals last time, and even we learned we can find clues from fossils too. So, guess what our lesson is about today? Dinosaurs! We're going to have so much fun learning about dinosaurs and how the scientists have helped us learn about dinosaurs and the history of Earth. So at the end of today's lesson, we're going to explain how Earth and its history is because of the work of many scientists, like Pam the Paleontologist and Jerry the Geologist. We're going to describe fossils, and we're going to explain what we know about various dinosaurs. You remember, Jerry the Geologist taught us about rocks and minerals and volcanoes. Pam the Paleontologist taught us about living things, like plants and animals. Say, boys and girls, can you name some plants and animals like you did last time? Very good. Trees, flowers, dogs, cats, those are all living things, plants and animals. Today we're going to learn some new vocabulary words. These all have to do with dinosaurs. The first one is debris. And it's the scattered pieces of something that have been broken or destroyed. So let's look. Let's talk about debris. Let's say the word debris 3 times. Ready? Debris, debris, debris. That is weird. It doesn't even look like it says debris. Our next vocabulary is excavating. Excavating means making a hole to uncover something by digging. Excavating. That's a big word. Let's look at the next word. Extinct. This means no longer living or existing. Do you think dinosaurs are extinct? I think I do. And our last word, next to the last word, is fossilized. It means made into a fossil, just like all those fossils we looked at in lesson 7. Meteor, a piece of rock from space. Wow, I can't wait to see some pictures of meteors. And meteorite, a meteor that has landed on Earth. Miss Sherry, do you think we're going to get to see some of those?
I hope we just see pictures of them.
Me too.
I think in real life that might be scary.
That would be really scary. Today we're going to hear how paleontologists find dinosaur fossils by excavating or digging up their bones. Let's say that word excavating 3 times. Are you ready? Excavating, excavating, excavating. Wow! That's a big word. Miss Sherry, can you give us a sentence with excavating?
I will try, and hopefully I won't stumble over that big word. Excavating dinosaur bones is a slow and careful process.
Very good. That means it takes a lot of time. Let's look. What do you see on this slide? What are these people doing? Do you think excavating dinosaur bones is an easy job or a difficult job? Ooh, it's a slow process. Is it slow or fast? What do you think? Well, look at the paleontologist in that picture, chipping away at the tool with his tools. Yep, it's a very slow process. Today, we're going to hear that dinosaur extinction might have been caused by a giant meteorite from outer space. Whoa! Look at that meteorite, boys and girls. Say meteorite with me 3 times. Are you ready? Meteorite, meteorite, meteorite. Goodness gracious, that's a mouthful. Karina saw a piece of a meteorite when she visited the Natural History Museum. Let's look at this slide of a meteor. Do you remember hearing about meteors in astronomy when you talked about that? Tell your partner what you know about meteors. They're not stars. They fly around in space, and they burn up when they enter Earth's atmosphere. They look kind of like shooting stars. Now, hey there, fellow scientists. It's Pam the Paleontologist again. Last time we were here, I gave you a whirlwind tour of the history of life on Earth, right up through the time of Dimetrodons, the first giant reptiles. And the ones that had those big sails on their backs, yeah, that was what that was. The age of the Dimetrodons was followed by a time known as the Age of Reptiles. This era, according to some scientists, began approximately 245 million years ago. Wow. Let's look at this image of a Tyrannosaurus Rex. This is the Tyrannosaurus Rex, or better known as T-Rex. Some people like to call him that. He was one of the largest and most fearsome predators ever to walk the earth. We can tell by his teeth that the T-Rex was a meat eater. We also know that it was over 40 feet long and up to 20 feet tall. Judging by the size of his bones, he weighed about 7 tons or more. That's 2 average-sized cars. Let's look at this image of Rex and Triceratops. This painting shows a T-Rex facing off against a Triceratops, a dinosaur with long horns and a shield-like plate on his head. Now keep in mind, when you look at artwork like this, nobody today really knows what dinosaurs look like. We have only seen their bones, the fossils. Artists use all this information supplied by all the scientists, like Pam the Paleontologist, to make good guesses about what dinosaurs look like when they were alive. They do all this based on their bones. Many people think of dinosaurs as giant reptiles. And in fact, the word dinosaur actually means terrifying lizard. Many paleontologists now believe that dinosaurs are more closely related to birds than they are to lizards. Whatever the case may be, there are no dinosaurs on Earth anymore. They have all been extinct, dead and gone, for many, many years. Now there are just fossilized bones of dinosaurs buried in the Earth's crust. That's what we talked about in our previous lesson. Let's look at this slide of a Stegosaurus. Here is my personal favorite, the Stegosaurus. Like the Triceratops, the Stegosaurus is an herbivore or a plant eater. But his head had some pretty good ways of defending himself against those T-Rex and other meat eaters. Stegosaurus had a hard, sharp plate on his back. This would have made it difficult to bite. But just in case anyone tried, the Stegosaurus also had a spiky tail, and he could do some major damage with that thing. Let's look at excavating dinosaur bones. How do we find and learn about these incredible animals? Some scientists believe that dinosaurs ruled the earth for more than 100 million years, and their fossilized bones can be found in many parts of the world, including the United States, which is where we live. Dinosaur fossils are hard to find, and excavating or digging up their bones is not as easy as you might think. I know you like to play in the sand. Well, paleontologists like to play in the dirt. They find an area that's likely to have dinosaur bones, and they move in with their tools and begin careful excavation. Paleontologists must use sharp little knives and small brushes to gradually scrape away the sedimentary rock surrounding the fossils. It will take this paleontologist days, maybe even weeks, to excavate one bone. It's very slow work. But to me, there's nothing more exciting in the world than carefully uncovering a bone that may have been buried in rock for 100 million years. Let's look at this one. Here, a paleontologist is excavating a large collection of bones from the sandstone cliffs of Dinosaur National Monument. This is an area located in Colorado and Utah, where we have uncovered several hundreds and thousands of dinosaur bones. Can you see all the bones in this picture? Wow, that was one big dinosaur. But what did it really look like? It's hard to tell because over time, the bones have moved around and become broken. As a paleontologist, I sometimes feel like I spend half my life putting puzzles together. We only find a few bones. The rest of the skeleton was long since destroyed or perhaps even dragged away by a predator many, many years ago. Other times, lots of different dinosaur bones can be mixed together. We paleontologists have to use our detective skills to figure out which bones belong to which kind of dinosaur. Let's look at another excavation. In fact, those bones belong to a mighty Camosaurus. I knew as soon as I saw its head, this plant eater was 60 feet long and weighed about 20 tons. A real whopper. That one took a long time to excavate. Let's look at the Camosaurus illustration on this slide. Here is one of the artist's ideas of what the Camosaurus looked like. It could use its long tail to fend off predators. Good thing you don't have to worry about these things anymore. Let's look at the next slide. Not all dinosaurs are huge. In fact, some are really small. Look at the Sampaganagus. This little critter stood 2 feet tall and scurried around with 2 little bird-like legs. He was a meat eater and fed on little lizards. We know this because the paleontologists found parts of fossilized lizards in the stomach cavity of these animals. Can you believe that? Wow. So, let's look at the T-Rex skeleton slide. What happened to the dinosaurs? You can't go and see a live T-Rex at the zoo today because dinosaurs are extinct. Long gone. Some scientists believe dinosaurs died about 65 million years ago. According to fossil records, the extinction of the dinosaurs was quite sudden. I wonder why. That's something paleontologists have been trying to answer for years, since the first dinosaurs were ever discovered, nearly 200 years ago. Let's look at this meteor again. For years, many scientists believed that extraordinary geological events, such as supervolcanoes, must have had something to do with it. These days, however, many scientists believe that the dinosaur extinction was caused by a giant meteorite in outer space. There are billions of meteors, or burning chunks of debris, in outer space. Some meteors are quite large, but most are tiny, between the size of a piece of grain of sand or a baseball. Meteors are whizzing around all over the place in outer space, all the time. Occasionally, a meteor crashes toward Earth. When this happens, the meteor hits the atmosphere at an incredible speed and usually burns up as it enters the outermost part of the Earth's atmosphere. Occasionally, bits and pieces of meteors survive their trip through the atmosphere and actually do fall to Earth. This is very, very rare, but it does happen from time to time, and it's possible to find pieces of them on the ground. Do you think you've ever found a piece of a meteorite? When part of a meteor survives the trip through the atmosphere and lands on the Earth, the meteor becomes a meteorite or a space rock that's landed on Earth. Let's look at some recovered meteorites on these slides. Wow, that is pretty amazing. Now, let's get our brains back to dinosaur extinction. Some scientists think that the dinosaur extinction was caused by a giant meteorite from outer space. When the meteorite struck the Earth, it sent massive plumes of debris into the atmosphere. This debris would have blocked out the light and the energy of the sun, causing much of the Earth's plant life and animal life to die because it lowered the temperature. Ooh, it must have been cold. Most creatures at that time would have been unable to adapt. They would have died because there were no food or water. Whether this is true or not remains to be seen, though geologists have discovered at least one very large crater that was caused by a meteorite impact about the time dinosaurs became extinct. That's so interesting to me. Whatever the case, we know that dinosaurs became extinct, making a way for new kinds of life on Earth. I, for one, will continue to study the Earth's fossil records, and I'm sure we will find the answer one day, because the clues about the history of the Earth are all in the rocks. Ask my friend Jerry the geologist. He's going to tell you the same thing. Let's look and ask some questions about what we read. Look at this slide of a dinosaur. Do you remember the name of this dinosaur? Very good, Miss Sherry. Do you remember the name?
I do. It was a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Ooh, you're right.
Yes.
How would you describe a Tyrannosaurus Rex to someone?
Oh, wow. I think that maybe we could pretend to that we're going to be a paleontologist and we can describe that to a friend.
Great idea. A T-Rex is a very large dinosaur. It was a predator and he ate meat. What does it mean when someone says dinosaurs are extinct?
Well, a dinosaur is extinct. That is probably because they're not alive anymore, that they are dead and long gone.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Let's look at a slide of another dinosaur. What is the name of this dinosaur, boys and girls? Very good. Miss Sherry, do you remember?
I do. This one, it was tricky. It was called a Stegosaurus.
Yep. If you were a Stegosaurus, how would you describe it to someone?
Well, I remember from the reading that he was a plant eater and he had long spikes on his tail, and that's what he used to defend himself.
Oh, very good. Very good. Do we really know what dinosaurs looked like?
No, we really don't. All we know is the bones that we see, and then artists are able to create pictures based on those bones.
You're exactly right. We only have pictures, and we use the information from all the scientists. Why do we not know what they really look like?
Well, dinosaurs are extinct. They lived many, many, many years ago, so no one knows for sure what really they look like.
You're right. You're exactly right. How do we know anything about dinosaurs if they're extinct now?
Well, our friends, the paleontologists, have been able to study their bones, and they give us descriptions of what they could look like, those fossilized dinosaur bones.
You're exactly right. What do some scientists think caused dinosaurs to become extinct? Do you know, boys and girls? What do you think, Miss Sherry?
Well, I think we read that most scientists think that a meteorite hit the Earth and caused the dinosaur extinction.
You're exactly right. I don't know if scientists will ever be sure what happened, but what must we keep doing? We must keep excavating and trying to learn and discover. I want to ask you a question. Let's think about it, and then we'll share what we thought about. Would you like to find a dinosaur bone, boys and girls? Would you, Miss Sherry?
I know I would.
I would be so excited to find a dinosaur bone. And we know, and we learned from the Read It Aloud, that dinosaurs have been extinct, which means dead and gone, for many, many years. Let's say that word again, extinct. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Extinct. Very good. If a plant or an animal is extinct, they are gone. They're no longer living. Some animals are protected so that they don't become extinct. Are there some animals that you can think of that are in danger of becoming extinct right now? Very good answer. What are some things that we can do to protect those animals from becoming extinct today? What do you think, Miss Sherry?
Well, we can study about them and see what is causing these animals to be endangered, and then we can do our part and help protect those animals.
That's a great idea. Kind of like that word preserve that we learned in that last lesson about fossils.
Yep.
To preserve the earth, we have to preserve these animals too. Let's review what we've learned today. Today we have learned that fossils are preserved body or imprint of a plant or animal that lived long, long ago. It's important for us to preserve Earth for everyone to enjoy. And we talked about some ways that we can do that. Reduce, reuse, and recycle. Scientists will continue to research and study on Earth in the hopes of finding more plant and animal fossils. As they study, we will learn more. Pam, the paleontologist, and Jerry, the geologist, I'm pretty thankful for them. Are you?
I sure am. We've learned so much from them.
They taught us about fossils, dinosaurs, rocks, minerals, volcanoes. Boys and girls, we have learned so much about the history of our Earth, and we are so thankful that you have been here with us to learn along the way.
All right, boys and girls, thank you again. We want to publicly thank Core Knowledge Language Arts. All the rights and credits for this lesson belong to them, and we'd like to thank them publicly. So thank you, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.